Alright, hey, how's it going? I am ANATTA, and today I'm going to show you how I made my track Weight of House with Jacob Kaye that is out now on MYC Records, my friend Josh Butler's label. Josh has been a huge inspiration for me and Jacob for a long time, so it's very cool to be releasing on his label and to call him a friend. But yeah, let's jump right into it. I'll first show you the track. All right. Yeah, so you might notice that this sounds a little bit different than the release version. That's because when I went to open this so I could make this video, a lot of stuff was missing here. So Jacob and I worked to kind of Frankenstein it back together with samples, and I rewrote the organ and some of that sort of stuff. Most of the major bones are here, but not all of it. So yeah, just wanted to give you a heads up on that. But yeah, we'll jump right into it. Um, Starting out with the low end here, because I think that's kind of part of the major identity of this track. Um, First thing we have is the kick. Pretty standard big Z kick. It's got some saturation on the lows. And that's really it. Nothing special going on there. Here we filter it at points in the track, so it kind of sounds more like high passed. Very simple arrangement stuff. When Jacob first sent it to me, he sent it with Subboom Bass 2. I don't have Subboom Bass 2, so I ended up using my own Subboom Bass, which is Subboom Bass 1. I've used a preset in there called Desert 01. I use it a lot. And I've done this low cut here, probably because it was out of phase or had like a DC offset issue or something. But when you do a low cut, sometimes you can shift the phase of a waveform a little bit. It's not something I normally do because it creates aliasing and actually like spikes your dB when you do this. But yeah, I did that, and then I added a little bit of a bump here to make it sound like a little bit more like audible and like phone speaker type systems. It's got a lot of that growliness to it. That's then also going into a saturator. Not a ton there. I think the key here with the movement of this is the two side chains. So one, it does the entire volume. So that's doing at 60%, and then the other, it's at 100%, but only under 109 hertz. So basically this is saying everything under 109 hertz is completely sidechaining from 0 to the full, and the other only has 60% of that range. So, hold on. Oh, I'm just realizing the screen capture can't see it. Well, anyways, basically what's happening is that one of these kickstarts is they both have the same curve, so they're both sidechaining the same way, but one is doing the entire volume and the other is doing everything under a certain frequency level that you can set with the band feature in Kickstart. So yeah, kind of a cool, I would say, like, cool thing there. One is basically for the groove of the track, the movement, and then the other is for like the engineering side of it. Yeah, from there, we obviously have this big organ melody. Like I said, it's probably not exactly how it sounds in the release version, but it is just a mirror of the other one. And with that, we've done a little bit of chorus, which I've taken the width down on. I take out the sub frequencies here, just so it's not fighting with the sub. I've done a bit of delay on it. I like the eighth note delay on organs like that. It's kind of a classic sound. And then there's dry chain, so that's just dry. Cut the sub out again. Sometimes those chorus plugins can add it. And then there's some filtering, just arrangement, and then same thing with Endless Smile, just arrangement stuff. Like you can hear it's filtering, has a bunch of Endless Smile. Yeah, so pretty simple stuff there, honestly. Nothing crazy. I've taken out a little bit of the lows on the filter of the delay, and yeah, I'm gonna get into how I wrote it. So it's pretty basic melody here. I think we're in E minor. Looks like we're in E minor, but yeah, you can see what I've done is here I have these overlapping notes. And then I also have these like swung notes that aren't exactly on the grid. So if you look at the 16th grid, like you can see these are off. And what I did that for is because I'm sure we had this top loop down here already, but I've moved some notes around off the grid like that just so that it feels more like it's in the pocket. And then the overlap of the notes, like here and here, is so that the notes actually like bend. So if you listen to this on its own, you can hear them bend. And we use those like bends for like energy because they pop up like pretty high in the register, right? So yeah, that's how it's written. From there, sorry, my mouse is giving me a little bit of problems here. All right, from there, move on to the drums. I'm gonna go up here. We have the open hi-hat here, which you can see it just automated the sustain on it. So at points it sounds very staccato and short. And then sometimes it sounds quite long. So we just use that to kind of determine where we want the energy to come in and out on that. And that is a layer of this top loop here, which runs through pretty much the whole track. Which we really liked. It had like a nice, good bit of swing here. You can see it's pretty swung as well. And like I said, like that's why we're doing that with the bass, is because this is what this is. And honestly, like I feel like a lot of people think they need to be exact, like, oh, down to the 1/28th note or something, or like, you know, so exact so the swing is dialed. But I think for like this kind of sound, it's like a little bit messier can sound good. And like the way I like to think about it too is like, you know, like some of the old funk tracks and disco tracks that really inspired this music, like they had a bass player and a drummer, and like, yeah, I'm sure they were in the right pocket together, but there's no way it was robotically perfect like you could make it here in Ableton. So I'm usually not that concerned with that as long as it feels like it's in the pocket. So yeah, like really nothing going on these, just quite dry. Oh, this does have like some side chaining. I side chained it to the clap and to the open hat, and I'll show you the clap. Nothing crazy going on with the clap. It's just two samples layered. So you can hear like that's really the main loop, but the reason I side chain them is because without it, it just kind of stacks up too much. So if you listen. Kind of just tucks them away and lets the layers I added, or if Jacob added them, whoever added them, shine there. So, yeah. And there's also this 8th hat. Not really doing a ton of work there, that 8th hat, but it is, it's definitely there. And then we got the 16th hat. Which appears to actually have its own like groove on it. Sometimes it's easier to just throw like a groove pool on it, and we probably felt like this one was close. And you can see the velocities here are not straight. You know, they're all over the place. To be honest, I'm not sure if that was intentional or if it was random, but it does sound pretty good with the Yeah, it sounds pretty good with the groove. And then there was also a shaker in here, and then there's a tambourine down here as well. So, yeah, that was kind of the decision that was made there. These crashes are just crashes. Very short. We've just choked up on the sample a lot. And then this is kind of the longer one. Pretty much dry. Same thing here with the ride. Didn't even cut out the lows there. I'm sure we cut it out in the group, but... and then, yeah, we got this, like, tonal percussion piece. And if I had to guess, being that this is one of my tracks, I've probably put this in key with the track. Yeah. Yeah, so it's an E, which is the root of the track. So it just kind of reinforces, like, because when something's tonal, I want it to reinforce the tonality of the track. So, like... So yeah, that's the drums. I guess there's a couple fills here. We got this one. Which I can tell I've done my reverb trick here. I like to use like a plate reverb on these fills to kind of make them like sound like big. It kind of gives them like a big space. And then they're just hard clipped, I'm sure. Yep. Some of those fills could just be a lot. So I'll just clip them up. And then I think there's 808s. Yeah, it looks like an 808s there. And then not sure if that's even grooved. Yeah, it is. Probably same thing as the bass here, just taken off by hand, just like off the grid a bit for whatever it's worth. Again, just felt like it's in the pocket, so it probably is in the pocket. So yeah, that's the drums. So yeah, that's like, I mean, those are going to be the bones of the track, right? Like that's the drums, the kick, and the bass. And I do think that is the majority of what drives this track. If you listen to just those, I feel like they have enough going on to kind of have a track on their own. Like... And I think the melody on the bass and the organ are really what push this track along, and everything else tends to be a little bit like supporting elements. So, like I said, did our best to Frankenstein it. Unfortunately, I'm missing a pluck here. I wish I could remember off the top of my head what I did with this pluck or anything like that, but I just can't. So, we'll jump into this. Oh, actually, before I move on, the drum group. We use like filters to arrange the drums. So just pull, you know, like here you can hear like the drums are probably a lot lower. Yeah, so we're just like using a low pass to just cut off the tops. Simple stuff, like just moving it like that. A little bit of saturation. This multiband is cool. Looks like I have it at 69%. Probably a very good percentage to use. Yeah, so basically what it does is like a lot of times when you're putting drums in and you're filling drums out, the more you fill drums out, the less distinct drums tend to sound. And I think when that happens, I tend to reach for this multiband. And that's because this multiband, it allows drums to... I use this preset called Sit in the Mix. Again, I guess you can't see plug-in windows here, but you can use Sit in the Mix to... It almost re-separates the drum. So I'll play it a little bit with it, and then I'll play it without it. All right, that was with it. Here's without it. So see how like the shakers kind of find their own space in the highs, and the claps find its own space at like the 2 to 4K area. And same with the hat. I just like it. It just gets a little bit of separation, but you can still keep that kind of like compressed feeling like into a room. And then here, this is just a hard clipper, so this is just to save some headroom. Oh, which again, you can't see. Well, all I'm doing is I'm hard clipping at like 5 dBs, and you can barely hear it. Like, very, very subtle difference. And then I've just got soothe on like a drum harsh setting, probably around like 33%. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I would, like, if I gave you some advice, I would say don't overuse soothe. Soothe can rob character out of drums like so quickly, and I feel like a lot of producers, especially new producers, love the idea of soothe because it's like magic, dynamic EQ, and yeah, it can be cool, but if you're using soothe too much, like you're just absolutely robbing the character of your track or your sounds or whatever. Not every frequency needs to be ducked to the fullest degree. You know, sometimes those sharp frequencies or those like bad frequencies are kind of what the character of the track is, especially in this rougher house stuff. Like you don't need to be that like crazy about it. But all right, yeah. Now moving on to the synths. So here I've got an M1 that's just playing a counter melody to the other M1. And that goes every 4 bars. And then we've got this stab. And what I want you to notice is that everything in my synths is like talking to each other. And then my synths also talks to my vocal, right? So like here I go downbeat with the stab, and then it immediately responds with the organ. Right, so I have this swell that goes right back into that stab. And then I have that little like piano fill, and that's all talking to, if you listen to the vocals. So this is on a 1-bar loop. The stab's on a 2-bar loop. This is on a 4-bar loop, and then this piano fill is on an 8-bar loop. And then this little swell is on a 4-bar loop. So it kind of creates this like, yeah, it's all a loop, but like it creates this like freshness to it too, because then I'm also throwing in these fills of like, so I'm just kind of trading off, and what I'm doing is everything's kind of having a conversation with each other. So that's the point of the synths and the vocals in this, is they're honestly supporting, because I'm playing such a melody, such like a hook melody in the organ and the bass. Everything else is just supporting it. So yeah, if you listen to it, it's all call and response. It all has its own spot, and like nothing's really, there's a little bit of overlap, but nothing's really like playing over top of each other. And then if you play that with the melody, it is still like interacting with it quite well. Like the I just is the same rhythm as the bass and the melody going bum bum right at the end, right? Like at the same time. So I'm just doing things like that to like kind of reinforce the groove, and like it's all very thought out and like very like I'm doing these things intentionally. I'm not just like throwing things at the wall. I'm trying to reinforce my groove and reinforce like the main idea and the main hook of the song. So that's basically what I'm doing there with those. I got a string that kind of comes in and out of the track just for atmosphere. Goes up an octave. And then the other major synth layer is this piano and pad. So these. And these are cool. Jacob showed me this strum feature that you can do on these chords, and that's why they have like such a. Sounds like somebody's laying their hand on a piano. And that's what this strum. He's done something here. Looks. So it looks like he had them like that or something. But I'm sure they're committed to wherever they were. But yeah, really cool effect. I've been using it a lot. And here's the piano. And then here's the pad. So very, very like, that has such a long attack. It like almost like complements the back end of the piano. Like you get that, and then you get the like, and it creates this really atmospheric like feeling. Which is cool. Start bringing the melody back in there. But yeah, like pretty simple stuff all through the synths as well. I think really this is all centered around the melody of this track. And they're all just, like I said, reinforcing that. And as these barely come in the drops, I think they're only on the outro, yeah. Yeah, so super, like, those kind of come in only at the end and then in the breakdowns, and they're not really in the rest of the track. So, yeah, for the vocal, again, nothing crazy. We're not using any of the major hook or anything. We're just kind of using little blips of it. You've heard most of the blips here. Yeah, and that's it. Like, all we've done to process it is some parallel delay, a dry chain, a house effect, if you don't know what that is. Like, this is what it sounds like. Very, very fast ping pong delay on both sides. And then some room reverb. And then endless smile to, you know, give it some... I'm sure we did that in the second drop, wherever that is, like here. Yeah, you can hear it ring out. Endless smile. This is part of my Frankenstein. This is the print of the final vocal. For whatever reason, I couldn't find it, so I rebuilt this for you. And then, yeah, vocal build is kind of just a 1-bar loop of the vocal. And all I'm doing is automating a filter and a delay. So yeah, the delay volume is going up in parallel, and filter, and that's it. Like, and that's all you're hearing, like, going on in the build there. I guess it does kind of give you the effect that it went from being open to closed, but really it's just a new channel that's coming in closed, and I even layered it there. Yeah, and then this is just a chop that I made with a sliced up sampler. And I'm sure that's run through, yeah, just a reverb, a little bit of delay, and a little bit of overdrive. I like to do textures like that. But, yeah, it ends up actually just saying the word. I probably could have just done this in audio, but it, you know, I had another idea initially. Yeah, you can see it here. Like, the idea was originally this. Do it like, can't no like, do it like. But I didn't like that much, so I went for this. So yeah, I ended up there, and like I said, I probably could have done it in audio, but it sounds cool. If you don't know how to do this, all you do is drag an audio into the sampler and then put it on slice mode. You play here with slice by, division, and I pitched it down too, which I think is just because I didn't commit the pitch in the original vocal. But yeah, that's how I did the chops. Yeah, very simple. Looks like my camera went out here. Give me 1 sec. I gotta get this back going. There we go. Let me make sure. All right. Yeah, that's good. I don't know why. I've been having trouble with my screen recording and my camera going out today. So if I've glossed over anything, I've had to film this like 2 or 3 times. So if I've glossed over anything, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I will try to get back to you on them. But yeah, where were we? We are on the vocal chops here. Yeah, right. So then all of that just feeds into a low cut, and that's about it. In this case, we're using a sampler, so it's already processed, and like you don't want to just go overboard for the sake of going overboard. I think it sounds great, so I showed you what we did, and that's just, it's pretty much that easy. Last thing here is the effects. Nothing's gonna be too shocking here. Bunch of white noise, snare. Yeah, just some really standard stuff. I like these cashmere exhausts still. I've been using these since the day I started producing. Let's see what this is. Oh, these are cool. These kind of give like dramatic effects. So what I do is I like low pass a kick, and then I'll put like a delay in parallel on it. And so you could just hear like when it's making a transition into a new part here, this kick gives it like a little bit of like drama feeling. I don't know what you call it, but small, but I like that sort of stuff, and I do it quite a lot in my tracks. And then yeah, some vinyl crackle. Pretty normal stuff. I didn't even low pass it. But yeah, I mean, it sounds fine. I can't hear any low information, to be honest, and even on my actual studio. So yeah, sounds good. I guess really the last thing to talk about here is the arrangement. Like, this track is it's one of these tracks that builds up, sets itself down, and then builds itself back up for one big moment. It's not really like a 2 or a 3 dropper. I know it says it has 2 drops, but it's more of like a 1 dropper. But this whole intro is just building things slowly. And what we're doing is we're just introducing stuff incrementally, right? And then just giving these fills, so it just gives it a little bit of boost of energy every time you're like getting something new. Yeah, so drop 1, all we've done is really just add the organ, which is the main melody. And then it's getting a little bit more complicated with the vocal fills as we go. And then there we're starting to pull it down. So the pull is like, it means, I always put it when I'm trying to pull energy out of a track. Right, so then we're in this big breakdown, and this like sort of big breakdown can really work in the club, especially when you're, 2 minutes and 30 seconds into a track, right? Like, it's been a lot of kick drum, a lot of bass, and even though you'd probably mix in at like the 1 minute mark, I mean, that's still quite a long time of just like thump, thump, thump. And we kept it going by keeping the energy kind of going up. But yeah, by this time, it's time to pull it like way out. So, and then we just start giving it back to you at 89. So yeah, I mean, this track is honestly pretty raw. Like even more on the like raw side of the stuff I do. I tend to be a little bit more heady about my choices, but I think it just worked out really well. Also, we were yeah, shout out to Jimmy and Kurt Ruse. Like we were referencing one of their tracks, I believe, when we wrote this. So I'm sure a lot of like what their decisions inspired kind of the decisions we made here. At least a general vibe. Neither me nor Jacob really like to like exactly copy people. I think that can be a bit for me it like can kill my creativity a bit. Like I like the tracks to be my own, and I find like when I do try to like reference someone too hard, I really lose like a lot of like the creativity in a track. But I think the sorry if the camera just cut out again, but I think the creativity can shine if you're kind of like, oh, I'm inspired by this track. Like, I like the rough drums and this. Let's pick rough drums. Let's pick these kind of like this kind of kick drum and these kind of like basses. And that's really what we did, I'm sure. So, yeah, I mean, that's basically the track. And then from there, it just like for the rest of it, it just starts to kind of pull itself down in energy. Yeah, you just feel the track pulling itself down. So, like I said, this track's like up, big valley, back up to a peak, and then it just kind of rides its way down. And then by the end, you're back out to basically what the intro was. So yeah, pretty like simple arrangement. Not the most complex thing either, but I think it served really well as an A side of this. And yeah, Jacob and I are really happy to have it out on MYC. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments, and yeah, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think. Thanks.